All right. So you finished the U section.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
how was that for you?
It was very, very interesting. Um, the breathing, no sweat. However, I became aware that my control issue came into play.
Okay.
Okay. I was hyper vigilant on maintaining the breathing because I
Yep.
had read the whole thing. Okay.
Yep.
And so as I was trying to shift my eyes back, and I couldn't do it.
Okay, great. Now this is a good point. Um, I'm not sure if it's a control thing. We might be able to point it towards that. The reason why I put the eyes in, if we get one reflex working, we get that breathing working, right? So we're like in the nose, like I've got it there, in for four, out for six, right? But it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. The main thing is when you're breathing in, that I'll stand up. When you're breathing in, you can see my hand here, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, when I breathe in, if I imagine that I have a balloon inside of my stomach, when I'm breathing in, my stomach,
Yeah.
okay, expands. I need to stand up a bit taller. So when I breathe in, no, you still can't see it. But what happens when I
Yeah.
breathe in, my stomach expands. Obviously, my
Because you
hand,
let your diaphragm fill.
yeah. And then when you breathe out, it's like you're pushing the air out with your hand in.
Right.
Now, what I found with that type of breathing is it's really kind of feels funny or even in reverse to how we normally breathe, or even in breathing techniques
Yeah.
that they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
happens is in the focusing or in the breath in, this is really disrupting the hold of the nervous system. So I suppose if we can call it control, the nervous system is locked into that sympathetic response. So the breathing is just kind of like an anchor. So it's an easy one in the sense that you can do it anytime you feel stressed.
Right.
Now,
Right.
now what happens then is once that reflex is trained enough, we add in a second task. So now we're like, this is a command to the control center in the brain. All right.
Right.
It now says we're doing one thing. We're breathing, belly out or belly breathing. And let's get that rhythm. Let's get that rhythm. Let's get that rhythm. Now, let's add another task onto that. So the next task is as you're doing that breathing, can you and you might need to do something like this if it's on yourself
Yeah.
to get started. Can you? Because what will happen is people and maybe yourself will then forget the breathing and focus on the eye pattern.
Yeah. And see, that's where I was saying my control issue, because what happened was I was so focused on making sure I was doing the breathing right
Yep.
that I could not do another task without losing that. And so I would not allow I was resistant to the eye movement.
Okay.
Even though I normally, now the thing is, I've had the last 8 months of training on breathing that way. So I more actively breathe through my diaphragm than I ever used to.
Okay,
So
great.
that feels more natural,
Okay, great.
honestly. But because I was aware we were looking at breathing, I didn't let myself just breathe through my diaphragm like I've been learning. I focused on it to remain in control so I could not do anything else.
Well, okay, so when you over focus, so it's like a building. I've moved my office around, so I'm getting my bearings with no, I'm getting my bearings with where everything is. No, it's this way. I don't know if it's this way or that way. That's That's better. Is it over? Oh, it's over more.
There you go. Yep, that way.
So it's like the breathing is the ground level, level
Right.
one. So we want to get level one, still not right. We want to get
There.
level one built
Mm-hmm.
because what we're doing is if we then build on the next level, we want to make sure that the foundation is strong.
Right.
So, it's great that you've been doing this. We want this to go from, let's say, um, trying to do it, or let's say stage one, adopting it, to this becomes automatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes from here to here. So then the purpose of the eye patterns is it's got a lot to do with the vestibular system as well, because when you're moving from left to right, the vestibular system is monitoring where internally where you are in time and space. With the eye movements, left eye controls the right side of the brain, right connects to the left side of the brain. There's a couple of wires that go off onto the same one, and they actually hit the visual cortex, which sits at the back of the brain. So
Right.
we're kind of linking in the brain and accessing the visual cortex. So when we're doing an eye pattern on top of this, it's really it's like uh, putting an extra layer around this base to ensure that in in a cyclone, right? It's like
Uh-huh.
cyclone proofing it.
Right.
It's like cyclone proofing it. So no matter what, you'll be able to hold your center or it won't fall
Right.
down. So then we go, well, cyclone proofing it, when we're under stress, we want to stress proof ourselves.
Right.
So that's why the eye positions are there to kind of lock this one in place, although it seems simple. So maybe the part-time so you got the breathing right, so then maybe just practice the eyes from left to right without doing the breathing.
Well, and see, that's what I'm saying because I thought I needed to focus on because as I'm sitting here talking to you, my laptop is raising off of my belly because that's how I've begun to
Awesome.
breathe.
So then
And
don't
but
worry
I
about the
brought the focus in to make sure I maintained the breathing and I couldn't do anything else. And so it was, if I leave the breathing out of my focus, I naturally breathe that way most of the time now.
Yep.
And so but that made me aware that even things that I have integrated into me, if I bring the focus onto them so that I reach that hyper vigilant control it thing, they don't just naturally happen for me.
Yet.
You see what I mean?
Yet.
And so I can't do the other stuff because I'm focused on something that
Well,
naturally happens
but
unless
if
I'm focused on it.
if we reverse what you just said, I'm hyper vigilant, then that means that your nervous system is in that sympathetic response.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, there's some pattern that I'm hearing about you having to do it right.
Uh-huh.
Right. So I've written that
That
down.
was another thing that came
Right.
up
Awesome. So
when I did the peripheral vision thing. It was interesting because as I would expand and become aware of what was around me,
well, let's just hang on.
I,
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's just stay on this before we get to peripheral vision.
okay.
Okay. It's great,
Hmm.
but now we're jumping. Okay. So is that okay with you in regards to this? Because it's going to come up with people that you do it with. You just have to say, hey, it's really okay. Go back to your breathing. Now, all right. So we want to create this cyclone proof, bulletproof, cyclone proof fencing. Then just practice the eyes left to right and don't worry about the breathing. At some
Okay.
point, what will happen is it'll just it'll lock in like the pen lid on the pen. So at they're one thing, but at the moment it's like we've got this, then we try and do this. And now do I focus on this one or this one? Well, it doesn't matter. The whole goal over time is to get it to do this. What it does inside the nervous system is this is the piece I want you to get without having to analyze right or wrong, is that we're building a foundation. And that foundation, then we plant that back into our life. When we got stuff come up, if we go to this first breathing and then eye pattern, what will happen is the stress pattern will disappear.
Okay.
That's the whole goal. So when you're over focusing it, it might be for you the need to get it right. It might need for you to be in control. It could be all those things, but it's like how the nervous system, if this is now the spine, we want to build the building blocks so it comes all the way up to here for when we experience stress that we don't fall over.
Okay. Okay.
So, this goes back to when I was working with kids. They did the breathing fine, and then I asked them to do the eye rotations, eye movements left to right, and their breathing pattern stopped.
Yeah.
So it just is a matter of practice. It's that you let's say were on Maslow's hierarchy, you just didn't know to start with. And then you knew that you didn't know, and now you become consciously aware that these two are separate. And then you're going to get to a point where you practice it, where you become unconsciously competent, where you won't even think about it. You'll just move your eyes to the left and to the right, and because it's not really, how can you focus on two? It's a little bit hard, but what you'll find is that once you relax into it, your breathing's natural rhythm will kick in because even now, as we've been sitting here on the call, you haven't been thinking about your breathing and it's kept you alive. As you
Yeah.
said, I'm sitting here, laptop's on my lap, and it's doing the normal breathing. Because
Yeah.
that breathing reflex is the first thing that goes when we're under stress. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at from um, the neurological hardware or the development of reflexes inside of the nervous system that was learnt very early on. And what I
Right.
find is it's like you get the system to do a task. Now let's add on another one. If it can't do it yet, this is what happens, let's say, with goals or saying, hey, if you've got coaching clients, I want you to do this week and this week. So what happens is they do the first one and can't do the second one because it's above their neurological order. From a belief perspective, it's above the belief line of what they believe they can do. But now we're talking all conscious, right? So we
Right.
want to build this hardware so the nervous system can take on more things. Because really, we can only really focus on one thing at a time. The brain has to stop to answer question by question.
Right.
So is that
Right.
helpful in um, taking in a perspective based on your experience? So and this is good. This is give you the experience and now come back with the feedback rather than I have to get it all first.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I'm seeing the things that you're saying were, I did the chat GPT thing like you had suggested. I did it orally,
Now
answered
this is
the
this
question.
is going back to the R section.
No, this is in you, the questions at the end.
Okay, got
I
it.
did everything and then answered the questions after I finished each
Oh, okay,
thing.
great. And how was that?
It went really well. That's where I'm saying this tight-fisted control thing of mine became very apparent as I was looking at how I reacted and responded to things. And there were
Okay.
several comments that I would make as I would do the oral question answering. And my chat GPT would say, okay, brutally honest, this is it. You, because I kept saying, I can't do two things. I can't you multitask all the freaking time. Look at how much you do, you know? And so that's not true. The thing is, you only feel safe if you're controlling one thing
All
at a
right.
time. And your hypervigilance is around those things that should just be natural for you.
Okay. So then if you look at the triangle of protection, here's a behavior that we're doing, right? So we're doing some
Mhm.
breathing and eye rotations. And then there's a belief over here that says, I can't do that behavior.
Because there's two of them. Yeah,
And it's actually not true. So,
yeah.
so then we go, all right. So when you're saying to yourself, I can't do this behavior because there's two, what's the feeling that comes up?
I get panicked that I'll do one of them wrong and I'll get in trouble.
Bingo. So, but what's the feeling that comes? Panic, right? So we
Yeah,
go panic. There's this side of the triangle, and you go, you say panic that I'm going to get it wrong. So now
yeah.
you're chunking into this belief of getting it wrong. So then the question, if you were coaching with someone, if it was me, then I'd say, so tell me more about getting it wrong. What does that mean?
Oh, getting it wrong. You were either physically or mentally or emotionally abused for it. You were
So
ripped
if
apart
I
for it.
get this wrong, I'm going to be abused.
Yeah,
And what does that mean? Or I might say, and how's that a problem? Or tell me more about that. Great. So you have to think, right? Now,
yeah,
all that's happening here is you've got this protective pattern that's running itself. That's really what's happening. And none of it's really true, but that's how powerful this, and like, we could keep digging and digging and digging and digging until you get the thing, right?
yeah.
Then, so whose voice is it that says you're getting it wrong?
My dad's
Great. So then who's in charge?
right now with that pattern, my dad.
Great. So he has the power. And who allows him to have the power?
I do.
Great. So let's just have some awareness around that
Yeah,
without having to have this control. So just hold that one. I'm sure, I am 4,000% confident, Raylene, that going through this, that we're going through in this program and what is coming with you writing your book, that you will recognize these patterns and start to embody these patterns rather than do it all up here.
yeah,
Because there's just more questions. And if you're keeping that content, like the R section from that you wrote, and you keep that content, we can use all of that content and your AI when we're unpacking this.
yeah.
Because it will use that, it'll decipher that. The more that you can get to communicate with it and use the brutally honest stuff, what's going to happen is it's going to help you to recognize patterns because I think what I'm getting across is, well, after all of this time, is I'm teaching you how to ask the questions that have a powerful quality around the questions. Because if you think about it, anything that we've ever done is a set of questions.
Yeah, yeah,
And then what comes from that is content. And so they would be questions or a process that I would use when I was working with people because, you know, I think what happens for me is, I don't think I know what happens for me is I see one thing, it's like I've been given a map, right? Here's the map.
yeah,
Okay, great. And then I give that to someone. So now I'm giving you a map. And then you kind of go, well, hang on, here's this map, but here's my map. So you're giving me a map. I'm not saying this is the map. I'm saying here's the map, now work it out. What happens in between is I see the pattern, I see the gap. Then all
yeah,
I'm doing is I'm now kind of saying, all right, so how can I communicate or ask questions, bring your awareness to the gap that you're not aware of so it does this?
yeah,
That's really what's happening through all. If I simplify things, it's like, here's the map, here's your map. Go off and learn your map against these coordinates. Then you
yeah,
come back and go, right, blah, 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 blah. And I'll go, right, that's where it is. There's the gap. Now try this until you do it yourself. So here's something that I think you really want to hear. You're in control of all of that. You have total control of how you use this map and your map. As I said, my role is to ask the questions for you to do this and you make your decisions. And that is 100% right for you.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I agree. That's how I process and heal things.
Yeah, well, that's what this process is really all about. And then
Yeah,
because it's easier now to record the data, I don't have to write anything in a session. You record it, then we just put it into another system that spits out your content. You just happen to be able to use the info and do this
yeah,
and share it.
huh.
So is that cool with this? It doesn't
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
be 100%, right? It's like
yeah,
what actually happens is it's doing the thing that brings up the thing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like I did this and this and this is the feedback my system got. And then you go, oh my God, I realize how much I do this. And I say, okay, awesome.
yeah. Well, it's funny when you said we walked through my dad's, I've given my dad control. And it was like, and you said, now sit with that for a minute. And I, here's another pattern that I'm aware of, but when it hits me, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Um, the pattern is I don't sit with things. It's nope, I can't sit with it. I got to do something with it now, you
No, but
know?
just see the whole time for one, if you as you start capturing this, and this will lead into more things, right? This will lead into the S section, right? It's a perfect
Yeah,
segue. So you said I can't, I don't.
yeah.
And then when you started to talk about that, you know the first thing that I noticed?
What?
Your breath went.
Oh,
When I send
yeah,
you when I send you the replay, we're at 27-minute mark, right? Look at that time around the 27-minute mark. You'll see when you're describing this, your whole energy lifts and your whole diaphragm goes into breathing. Yeah, diaphragm goes into breathing. You go into the old pattern of breathing.
Yeah, my chest heaves instead of my
Yeah.
stomach.
So now if we put this
Yeah,
on the bridge, right, this is just reinforcement of this whole program, right? Over and over and over again. It's like you're now in the acceptance phase, right? Oh, I should
yeah,
say, no, you're not. You're in the awareness phase. Well,
yeah,
you're in that's awareness. So you're having a lot of, oh my God, awarenesses. Good.
yeah,
So although we're just doing what seems to be really simple, it's like it brings up stuff. Like it's powerful stuff if you explore it.
yeah,
Because these are things that happen from a part of the brain that is not conscious. So if you think of it from that perspective, you're doing involuntary, your nervous system is doing these involuntary things like your eyes move and you breathe. They're involuntary. So it sits in somewhere in the unconscious part of the brain.
right, right,
I'm now saying, hey, become conscious of your unconscious.
right,
And so
right.
what's happening is this thing. And so if you want to look at control or the fight, now there's a battle between the conscious and the unconscious. That's
Yeah,
okay.
I was just gonna say, I feel like as I'm doing this work and I'm becoming more, I feel almost like, I'm not sure I described this right, but it's almost like I have a life and a conscious and a brain that runs in full survival mode. And then this one over here that is expanding and enjoying life, and they're clashing constantly like this.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because what comes to me when you share that is like I can't have both. I can have one or the other.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like it's this relationship or it's this relationship. The thing is, there's never a balance. There's always going to be a this one and a that one. That's how it's designed, a this one or a that one. Yeah, but what a huge awareness that you're having around this survival thing. Like we can talk about it consciously and logically and it makes sense. Now I'm getting you to do something, and what's happening in your body is now you're like, because when you can embody the thing, that's when it lines up. That's when it anchors. That's when it holds. That's when it lands, whatever you want to call it. That's when there's a huge awareness between here, the mind and the body. And
yeah,
because the mind's been running the show, it's not really, well, the part of the mind, it sends these chemicals into the body. So, as George Dispenza would say, the body becomes the new mind because the body needs its hit of chemicals.
yeah,
So it's like, it's like this loop of thought that runs in there. Joe Dispenza would also say the average person has somewhere between 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. And, you've only got to look back over the last few days or so or past few years to see what's running the show. So if you think about control, it's like control in another way where essentially it could be like learning to take back control consciously and unconsciously.
okay,
Because to do that, you need to have awareness. To do that, you need to be able to connect into the body. To do that, you need to change your breathing pattern. First thing, you will not be able to go because it's like, not that there is, but it's like the bouncer standing on the door here. It's like, where's your ID? You're not 21. You can't come into the club because you don't have the ID that says you're
yeah,
allowed to. So we need to find a way to bypass this bouncer that's standing on the door and then create this relationship between these two where they're on board together. It's not really like that, but I'm framing it in that way so you can get, oh, there's a relationship here. There's this one and there's
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
And so the eye patterns are the same.
Now, let me throw this at you and see what you think. Just, and we didn't talk about the peripheral vision one, but
No, but that
I had,
we're going to go to that when. So before you ask that question, are you okay with this section, and then we can move to peripheral
yeah,
vision now?
yeah, yeah.
Sweet.
I see what happened during the breathing thing.
Yep.
I see where I'm at with that. After I did the peripheral vision one and I was on opposite ends, it was like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Awesome. That's a great response. It
So,
doesn't make sense
yeah, yeah.
because sense is made here in the unconscious, not in the conscious part of the brain. Sense is made here. So now, like consciously, this doesn't make sense. Hang on a minute. So what was it that didn't make sense?
Okay, when I did the peripheral vision one,
Yep.
the more I expanded and saw things, the less constricted my body was.
Bingo.
Um, the more soft everything was. I could see more. If I tried to come back to seeing the focus spot, it was like everything, my physiology collapsed
Yep.
in narrowing.
Yep.
But
So how was
when
that?
it was great to go out, but not to come back. Okay. But the thing that didn't make sense is when I tried to expand in the breathing one and allow another, it constricted me
Great.
when I tried to expand. But in the peripheral one, I could expand without constriction. So I don't get why.
Uh, so what I'm hearing is if we go back to this, the word trying. I'm trying most likely to get it right. And
And the
then
peripheral vision one, I
when
was
we
just able to do.
when we over focus, foveal vision, we want to go wide, but the visual center's in the back. So when we over focus, we're so narrow here that we don't see what's out here. That's because we're in survival right now. I need to stay still and be focused on that thing because if I do that, I can pick up everything out here. But to do that, I can't breathe. Now, that's the reptile brain. Over focus. Your word is hypervigilant. When I'm hypervigilant and I over focus, my parasympathetic nervous system is switched on. You know, let's put
Yeah,
some legs on this thing. Here's now your parasympathetic here, and this is your sympathetic. This is your parasympathetic. So it's like your body's always going into you're standing on one leg. It's exhausting. You have another leg, but to do that, you need to kind of do this retraining that sends messages up to this part of the brain to say, hey, send messages down now so this can work. It's like this is the engine sensor. We need to get all the messages through the pathway here to switch on all of these things. These things are being switched off because blood and oxygen and all of our energy we go into we need to hang on to all of our resources now because we're in this space here. Here's your blood sugar stuff.
yeah,
Right, we
yeah,
we have to, the brain is wired to expel as less energy as possible. Also, it's all doing this involuntary stuff, right? So if you change the pattern on some level, the system doesn't know, and you go, "Oh, I'm going to collapse." It's like it's going to die. This old pathway opens up to a new pathway that gives you choice. But we've got to train the nervous system, the involuntary stuff first. Does that make sense? Or
Some of it.
is that helpful for you? That's probably a better word.
Yes. Yeah. Some of it. Yeah.
So when you're focusing, so here's the example, right? When you focus, so think about your dad
Yeah.
and think about him, you going into panic that you're going to get it wrong. And with your eyes, just look down. With your eyes, think about that thing and look down. So just look down, just keep them down, just keep focused under the horizon. Just think that you've already stopped breathing. Keep looking down as you're focusing on that thing. I probably should have asked you some other questions, but is it getting worse?
No, I feel like I'm stepping out of what the reality is.
Well, that's interesting.
I feel like the thing above my dad and all of his control is reality, but by looking down and under it, it's
No, what I'm asking you to
I
do is
feel
just
almost like I'm not facing what my reality is by
okay,
looking
great.
away from it.
Okay, well, that's good. So you're not facing reality. So when you're not facing reality, what are you doing? When you're looking down and thinking of this problem or this thing that's been the issue, and you're not facing reality, what actually are you doing
I'm seeing it without all of the intensity.
as you look down?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, so now hold that same thought with your dad and uh, lift your eyes up above. I was trying to find my black little circle that I've made because I cleaned out the whole office and I was like, oh, there's the black dot. I still got those. So now look up above the horizon, just focus in on one point and think about this stress with your dad and the panic. And as you breathe, and just allow that peripheral vision to kick in as you just focus on one spot above the horizon. Just as you're breathing, thinking of that panic and your dad that you're going to get in trouble. Great. And so what do you notice?
I'm not in the situation, and
Mm.
so I don't have to panic.
Do you see? So for you, what was the difference in those two responses? It's there right now.
It was almost like below it, I couldn't see it. Above it, I had lifted out of it.
And so what does that mean for you? Yeah, good. Here's the distinct difference, Raylene, all right? I'm going to point it out to you. So here's the distinct difference. When you're focusing, your eyes are below the horizon, you're focusing on the problem. It's great that you disconnect from it, but you see in your response, you had an answer straight away. It was this and this and this and this, and I did this and this and this, and I did this and this and this. It's that probably wanting to get it right bit. And I just say to you, that's interesting. Because in my world, I'm like, that is interesting because that's interesting. Not that there's a right or a wrong. The response was interesting because I wanted to see what happened when we did the second one. So when we did the eyes up, you did this. There was no thought. And then you went, oh, oh, it's this. A totally different response. And remember, I said, I'm giving you a map and here's a way to use the map. I'm calibrating the two now. A total different response. It was like, huh? Essentially, what happens is when the eyes go up, you do peripheral vision. You couldn't find any information in your brain to give me an answer. You had to go, oh, oh, I think it was this. Okay, great. When your eyes were down, you could tell me exactly how it was to the T. That's
Yeah.
still conscious control. That's still the sympathetic nervous system running the show. When your eyes were up, that's the parasympathetic going, oh, I can rest and digest. It doesn't really matter. It's blank. There's nothing there. There's actually nothing there, which results in when your eyes are up, in foveal vision, you cannot hold a stress pattern. You cannot hold it
Hmm.
because you access the pattern that's known. So, what you've learnt to do by the sounds of it, correct me if I'm wrong or if this is off track based on what you said, was I've learnt to disconnect and go into some different reality other than what's present with the eyes were down. I go into some other reality.
Yeah, I disassociate from whatever it is I'm envisioning.
Right. So when you disassociate, what's running the body and how's the body running? You don't know till you come back.
No, it's just whatever my body does.
So the thing that you said about the experience you had with the peripheral vision is, oh, you then went and did the peripheral vision, you did this and you come back and there's a bit of a freak out
Yeah.
because the whole time your eyes were up, you weren't in a different reality. You weren't disassociated.
I felt almost like I was connected to a different energy than what I was seeing when my eyes came even level or down.
It's just somewhere else other than where you were.
Yeah.
So let's say that is a disassociation, but the nervous system is doing what? It's not standing on one leg.
Yeah, it's not in any panic mode.
Nope.
Because even when I disassociate, I still am in fear of what the reality is.
So when you, let's say, when you did that peripheral vision, let's say that you disassociated to another reality. So it's still doing the same thing, but how's the nervous system running whilst you're away?
It's running like it should normally.
Clockwork, you've automated the system. Over here, it can't live without you. It's like, God, she's away. What are we supposed to do? Hang on a minute. When I was a little girl and this happened, this is what this meant, and this is what this meant. I don't go into panic. So let's just do that because that's what's recorded. That's the program. Now, that won't go away. It's just an awareness now, the program.
Yeah. Hmm. That's interesting.
It is interesting. I agree because we're doing breathing, some eye rotations, and then we're doing this peripheral vision thing, right? And it's like, well, how would that really ever work? What does that do?
Yeah.
It does a whole lot of involuntary stuff that if you get this and cement it in, it can be the go-to anchor to get you out of a jam really quickly until you can. It's like first aid
Yeah.
because it's like you don't have to. if you get in a jam, it's like, oh, hang on a minute, I can't do that technique till I get home. It's like, well,
Yeah,
like for me, it was always this is a cool thing to do, but it's like, yeah, but it's not appropriate to do in a meeting. Like
that's true.
you can breathe in a meeting,
Yeah.
and even
I
if
like to find I do that.
and
If I've
even
got something happening, I'll take a minute, and even if I just barely soften my eyelids and focus on my breathing for just a minute before I react, it helps.
so that's why this is the first reflex. It connects to this one and then to this one. You will draw resources from this and this when you do this because the body goes, oh, we're doing that thing again. And that means this, and this.
Gotcha.
Well, it doesn't say that, but I'm making it
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah.
It goes, oh, when we do this, you're training the nervous system to draw its resources to do this. It's going to go, and that's when it can become automatic. Look, there's other ones where you kind of do this with your hands and cross over and do stuff like this.
Hmm.
Like you might find when you're talking to people, they just do this or cross their legs or do something. It's very energetic enhancing for the system to cross your feet and do this like this, or you can just kind of do this because it actually creates this like a figure of eight, and the energy can start to flow freely in that figure of eight.
Oh,
There's
hmm.
so many other things I'm like, I can't, that doesn't really work in this.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I want to be able to give it in that U section. So it's like
yeah.
that's the power of three that's in that. Well, actually, it's kind of two, isn't it? Because we've got the first one here, which is the breathing in the eyes, and the second one here. And then the third one is the unconscious pattern change.
Yeah,
So we're centering the nervous system to be able to do that next technique, and they can all be standalone or done in that way.
yeah,
So I'm glad that you brought those up. So is that cool with the peripheral vision?
yeah, yeah. So,
So then my next question to you is, how did you go with either the unconscious pattern change, or because I've given you a script for that, a bit hard to maybe do it on yourself.
yeah,
I probably need to
that's what I found.
record that one. Thinking about it now, and so that's probably something that I'll do. I'll make a note of. But also, the universal freedom technique is an alternative one. Probably need to record that, but Anita sent that one to you with her voice.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't know where that fit in. I couldn't remember. And so I will listen to that one. Um, one
Great.
thing that was interesting because when I tried to do the UPC, okay, I really did try, you know, and I said in my audio part, I said, I'm not sure I can do this since I'm having to read the instructions and
Yeah.
try to do it what it says too. So I'm constantly pulled back and forth between coming back to the present and trying to remain above and before the first event. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah. It
I
makes
did
total sense.
notice now my chat GPT said, but the thing is, you had a first event. Now, I thought it was one thing. And when I began to work with what the thing was saying, I was going, and it was like, oh shit, yeah, there's dots in front of it.
Yeah.
And so then I began to go a little bit further. I got all the way back to three events that happened the year I was in sixth grade. Oh, shit, there's okay. And so as I was looking at that, it said, your nervous system appears to oscillate between expansion and contraction, immersion and monitoring, feeling and controlling, openness, stabilization, presence, and task management. Um, and so there were a lot of things. Well, she said, well, I may be observing my nervous system in real time, which was not a weakness. It was a protective intelligence I had formed.
Yeah, for
And so,
sure.
yeah, yeah. So
So
it was helpful to see that,
yeah,
to be able to see. I mean, I'm beginning to comprehend better this idea that my patterns, there's nothing,
there's nothing.
there's nothing wrong with my patterns. They have kept me alive for 67 years. They just are stopping me from moving
Just
forward.
say,
It's
just
all,
say, don't say that again, because that would be you saying that again, right? What I want you to repeat is, there's nothing wrong with my patterns. Just, just say that again.
there's nothing wrong with.
Okay, let's hold that one. We'll utilize that one, but breathe. Just breathe. So there's a bit of a, just breathe. I know I'm pushing you through a bit, right? So we'll come back to the patterns bit. Is that cool? Because I want to show you something here with the unconscious pattern change, and also I'm recording it, so I want Anita to see it as well, right?
Okay.
So then if we draw the timeline, and this is now, what I'm asking you to do is, okay, so if we think of the pattern, we're going back to, or based on what's happened in the past, is part of the pattern.
Yeah.
Is that true for you?
Yes.
So when we say, well, right now, we want you to go back above your timeline all the way to a time in the past. So now we've got a past time and now.
Okay.
And so there's potentially a whole lot of events between now and the past that
Right.
we don't recall, right?
Yeah.
It's all recorded data in the vestibular system, in the inner ear, in the canal, in the ear, inner canal, in the ear. So it's like there's all these discs in there that records all the data through movement and vibration.
Okay.
So then we're saying, all right, float back, find an event that happened in the past, and it could be this or it could be that, but that's why it's called an unconscious pattern, because we're going to be logically or consciously thinking, oh, it's going to be this thing in the past. And then what happens is I then say, go back to that thing in the past, but we're above it. So it's like we're disassociated from it, right?
Right.
And then I say, all right, I say, like, look back in the past and there's a dot, only because there's a dot. Like, I'm just kind of going, there's a dot,
Right.
rather than it was a specific event. And then I say, now look further, are there any more dots? And you look and you go, oh, hang on a minute. So let's say this past thing is the event. Now, it could be here or it could be anywhere along here, right?
Yeah.
We really don't know. But what we do know is our patterns or the events that happen, the same thing happens here, here, here. It's the same thing. It's the same bloody
Right.
events. because we
Right.
experience the same thing. That's the programming, right?
Yeah.
So then we go, all right, so we go, let's go further up and above and behind that event. So I probably say in the script, float back up higher, way before any of the events led to this event, and go
Yeah.
back further and tell me, are there any more dots? So you're now going back higher and above this event until there's no more dots. So then what happens is, and now I say, all right, turn towards now. So turn back towards now and look down at this event that's in front of you. So what happens then is, as soon as you flip that, the mirror image of how you held that event disappears. It just drops away. Then we test it. We go, now drop into that event and tell me, are the emotions there or have they disappeared now? There's a command. You go, they've disappeared. If they're still there, we go, that's okay. I want you to go further up and further back, way up, high, further up, further back, further up, until you turn towards now and there's no more dots. Are there any more dots? No. Now you're looking at the event in front of you. So do you see how spatially we're looking at the event like this? Now we've gone to here, we look down on it. Then we go further back, we look like this, and that's when it switches. And then we say, all right, so come back to now, float back above all the events that used to hold all that problem and notice what changes now. So you come all the way back like this, you come into it, you go, is the problem there or has it disappeared now? It's gone. Well, how do I know? Because you feel it. Because you know the event was there to start with. We say, okay, here it is, or here it is, I can feel it. Come all the way back to now. Then we even go out into the future and go all the way out into the future to an unspecified time in the future where if it had happened in the past, this old thing would have happened. Turn towards now and tell me, what do you notice? Boom, double check, it's all disappeared. It's like the magic knot, that the magic rope that has all the knots in it. You get to here and do that and you go, and it's like, how did he do that? It's the mirror image inside of the mind that just flips it. So that's why that technique is so powerful. So
That-
whether you were able to do it or not able to do it, I realize that you're going to have trouble with it. And I'm like, well, let's just give them the experience
Yeah.
rather than me having to get it right and do all this stuff. So that's how the unconscious pattern change works. It's a little bit different how the universal freedom technique, no, sorry, the universal freedom technique works because it is, and I'll discuss that maybe next week with you once you've gone through it. But I wanted to explain because you kind of read through it. So how is that for you? Do you have any questions on this process?
No, not really. However, I do know I have intellectualized what you said.
Awesome. Well, you can't not, can you?
And so until I experience it, it's going to be like I've taken off in an airplane. I'm up in the clouds. I can't see the ground anymore. You say, turn around and look down, come back down. I can't see the ground until I come down into it. The
Yep.
ground's still there. So until I experience that whole thing, I'm not going to be able to feel
Got it.
the ground not being right there.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. What it will work for is when you're doing this with people, because you've been through it and now I've explained it a little bit more,
Yeah.
you just have to say, it's okay, it's just right how it works. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't gone into all the depth of it because I don't need to. I just wanted to give you an understanding, but it really
Yeah.
is like the because in the brain, so it's like information comes in through the eyes like this, and it comes
Hmm.
into the brain, and most of it crosses over. So it crosses
Right.
over and hits the back part of the brain where the visual center is. But the
Right.
information that comes in upside down. So if you've got some challenges with processing information, especially kids do, when it comes in and it bounces off, it's not really a wall, but I call it a wall, bounces off the wall, comes in upside down, bounces off the wall, comes back out the right way around. What you'll find is children that don't have that processing challenge, their writing, their words, their letters will all be in the correct way that they're meant to be. If
Hmm.
someone has that challenge, they'll have potential
That's why they
problems.
write them backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
I wondered. Okay.
They'll have that challenge of writing their D's and B's around the wrong way, their P's and Q's around the wrong way. Because what happens is it comes in upside down, hits the wall, and comes back out the same way. And then the mirror image is on paper. It's showing the writing is actually just showing you what's happening in the brain.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
So
That explains a lot.
that's the mirror image. That's the mirror image that I'm talking about with the visual center. So that's more, it's kind of linking back a little bit more to the foveal vision stuff, right? But also, if you use now the mirror image of how we hold information, it's the mirror image in this, how we hold it drop. So it's like, Raylene, get the breathing, get the eyes. If you don't get the breathing and the eyes and you get this, on those three, pretty much, and if you practice that, you're going to get it
Yeah.
because it changes the processing of the events. We're just not writing anything. If I get a kid
Got
to write, and well, this is the work that I previously did in helping children to write, and they had dyslexic tendencies,
Yeah.
or their writing would start on the page and go up. It was just a switching problem between three networks of communication in the brain. And it's like this one is not talking to this one. And because it's not talking to this one, the result is the writing goes up like this. Or the
Yeah.
writing goes down like this. So it's like if this is the midline, it's okay here until it crosses the corpus callosum, the middle part of the brain, and then it goes haywire.
Huh.
Or if you look at the alphabet itself, right, and you go, well, you've got this side, and we draw a line, A is like this. Now, so an A is like this. Now a B is on this side where it goes like this, and
Yeah.
a C is on this side, and then a D would be like this. So, this is based out of a lot of stuff that I did with kids with the alphabet and doing it. It ends up being a lazy eight. But if they have dyslexic tendencies, they won't place the letters on the correct side, or if it's a circle and that starts here, they'll go over here. And all that tells is what's happening in the brain. So
Huh.
I'm digressing a little, but it's the same. I was talking about the eights in kind of doing this stuff in the body
Uh-huh.
as well. But it's like this is all the brain work. So
Yeah.
with the
Hmm.
vision, it's just holding that it's a mirror image. Upside down comes out the right way. So if you can do that mirror work, it just indicates that your processing unit, you can process and bounce it off. It can come in, it's coming in upside down and coming back out upside down. Very skillful that you can do that because you've got to get along with life, which means you need to compensate and do other things. Is probably a side, and then those people that let's say have that even preference, their nervous system are probably very kinesthetic. They'll do things with their hands.
Yeah.
They'll be good at pulling apart motors and putting complex things back together because they're they've learned to solve problems with a processing unit that's kind of is works differently. Their map is different to someone else's. So someone else's
Yeah.
map that works differently will kind of go, well, I'm maybe not so kinesthetic. I learn quicker. I'm a visual learner,
Yeah. Yeah.
as an example. So it's like they see it and they get it. Well, everyone learns visually and auditorily, but you'll have a dominance of being audio, a visual audio or kinesthetic. Now, a kinesthetic learner is a little slow to learn because they need to take that in, and then they need to do it. Takes longer. When they get it, they've got it.
Yeah.
Because they've had to go through all of the checkpoints where a visual learner goes through the checkpoints, but they got it because it just passes.
Yeah.
So is
Yeah.
that helpful for you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So then that leads us into uh the so that's the U section finished.
Yes.
So when I was looking back through this, did you get a chance to see the updated info that I put into the
For the
Dropbox?
sovereign,
Yeah.
is I began working on that. Yes.
Okay, great. So,
I have been reading it. I haven't done anything. I've been reading through it. So,
okay, so I'm going to take you through it so you experience it right here, right now, right today.
okay.
Okay, so in stepping into your sovereignty, it was like stepping is an action. Now we've come through that. We're going to do some movement where before I had the proof, um, I had the binaural beats in there and writing the future. And now that it's changed as we're going through it, I'm like, nah, that can't be it. It's it's interesting because last week I spoke about that yin and yang and all the
Yeah.
meridians, and kind of not realizing that, oh, now I'm teaching you the tapping, which is tapping on meridians. But rather
Oh,
than that's essentially what it is.
okay.
But rather than teaching you every one, which is quite a sequence, I'm like, I'm just going to give you a shortened version that will help.
Okay.
I left the longer version in the book to honor Gary Craig and Roger Callahan and Gary Craig. Roger Callahan was the developer of emotional freedom technique or thought, and Gary Craig was an engineer, and then he went, oh well, I'm gonna do my way and call it thought field therapy, or it was the other way around, one of the two. So I left that in there to honor them, and also it opens up a loop
Okay.
because when I wanted to put it in there because I'm like it was a bit random. It was a bit random just putting that there without honoring the other stuff because I found my old manual, my old energy psychology. I knew I had it all. It's just where is that? And
Yeah.
I had like my old big box, you know, drive out and I couldn't access it. And then I went through all my little USBs and I found it. I'm like, bingo, there it is. And I'm like, because I took myself through the program because my stuff's coming up. And so what would I do?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to do this. So the stepping into your sovereignty is really coming back to you. I'm not going to read. I'm just looking up here, and then I created that because I love the acronyms, right? 'Cause when I do it, I'm like, I can create an acronym for me. Then I feel smart because it's just a diagram that teaches you, right? And so
Right.
when it come up, safe framework, I haven't trademarked it. That was just how it come up. I'm like, that's gold. The same with the trust method. It's like, well, what is it? You do this, you do this. It's like, it's not, I just came up with it and created this thing because it's good. It's like, well, tell the truth. You've
Yeah.
really got to tell the truth here, right? And if you don't tell the truth, then you're not telling the truth. And then, reveal the patterns. How do you do that? Well, follow the program, the list of things, and you'll reveal the patterns like you've done. So if
Right.
you told the truth, you revealed the pattern, 65-page document, well done. That's a lot. But you know what? It's content, right?
Yeah.
So you keep the content. It's gold. We can dig
Right.
into it. We can repurpose it. We can use it. I'll just teach you how to use the AI to do that, to create, because essentially what's happening is, look, if we go back to the nervous system, down here in this space here, your nervous system is disorganized.
Yeah.
And so I'm helping you to get it organized.
Yeah.
When it gets organized, then you'll communicate in a much different way. And so
I can see
really,
where that would be.
really what I'm doing is just kind of I've created a whole lot of I've done a whole lot of stuff and now I'm just organizing it in an organized way and delivering to you and you're like, wow, it's called healing, but in
Yeah.
business we're kind of going from disorganized to organized, or in business you if you look at your ideal client, you just want to find your ideal client is the one that you're one more step organized from their disorganization.
Right.
Hence, breathing one step. Now do eye patterns, or move your eyes from left to right. I'm still a
Right.
bit disorganized. Okay, no problem. Do the peripheral vision. Okay, feeling a bit more organized. I kind of get things a bit more. Do the UFT or the UPC. There'll be a dynamic shift in your nervous system because what will happen with your triangle of protection is you'll have neutralized the emotional component. Your behaviors will change. Oh, sorry. You've neutralized the emotional component. Your behaviors will change because your nervous system goes, oh, I don't need to respond like that anymore. So your habits will change and you'll start thinking differently. Your beliefs will change. You'll go
Okay.
from I can't to, oh, maybe I can. Or what if I could?
Yeah.
Or you'll go,
Okay.
whatever. Oh, that's my dad's stuff. And so what would I say? Oh, I can do that. Or it might be, it's okay to get it wrong because I learn. It's
Yeah.
okay that I do this because now I can see this. So we're not directly looking at any one area, but we're using all three.
Yeah. Okay.
So now that leads us to the safe framework. Well, we want to feel safe when we do this stuff, right? Because if you
Right.
think from a nervous system, we want to be in a space of safety. If we're not in safety, we're in what? Danger, survival,
Yeah.
lockdown. So if I'm looking at this acronym, I'm just pointing over here because as I said, I've moved everything around and
Right. Right.
my big monitor is over here now. Um, and so the S stands for speak.
Right.
Now, okay, so when we do this technique, we need to speak. And I'll demonstrate it in a minute. I'm not going to read, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so the next part is the A. We need to accept the stuff. If we don't accept it, then, and what we need to do is accept ourselves. Now, what was that statement that you said about, and then you said, my patterns aren't wrong. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Great. I'm just writing that one down. So the next part of this system is to feel it. So when you spoke and said my patterns aren't wrong, we need to work with some acceptance and neutralize the nervous system once again. We need to accept that in the process, we speak about acceptance. And then what will happen is you'll emerge from that congruent and neutral in a neutral state. And I'll give you an example. So that's really without getting into just reading it off that, you'll come out of the other end of this place in a neutral state in regards to that thought. So when you think about what I want you to do is just go back and think about when you just had the awareness of my patterns aren't wrong and you
Uh-huh.
tune into that. So tell me on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no, not stressful or no charge, and 10 being charge, be honest, tune into it because you've just become aware of it. Where would you rate it when you had that realization?
Oh, that was a full on 10.
Okay, great. And so how do you know that how do you know it was a 10?
Every There was a physical sensation. I cried.
Okay.
My throat constricted. It was,
Cried, throat constricted. So here you go. You said some words. You said some words You felt some stuff, and your behavior in your body was you cried, so water, and your throat closed up. So do you see how that
Yeah.
was all three happening? It's the vicious triangle, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right, so this technique works really simply, right? So I just want you to tune into that feeling that you felt, that 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and oh, I'm going past all of this stuff. I'm just going to go to the three steps or the three things that we do. So what I want you to do is I want you to say, speak, and I want you to say, my patterns aren't wrong. So I want you to
Okay.
say it, and at the same time do this. This is the karate chop. This is the technique, right? So do this and say,
Okay.
my patterns aren't wrong.
My patterns aren't wrong.
Again,
My patterns aren't wrong.
again.
My patterns aren't wrong.
Great. Now what I want you to do is tap on the side of your eye and say, my patterns aren't wrong.
My patterns aren't wrong. My patterns aren't wrong.
My patterns
My
aren't wrong.
patterns aren't wrong.
Underneath your eye, my
My
patterns aren't
patterns aren't
wrong.
wrong. My
My patterns
patterns aren't
aren't wrong.
wrong.
My
My
patterns aren't
patterns
wrong.
aren't wrong.
Now, just underneath your collarbone, either side, my patterns aren't wrong.
My patterns aren't wrong.
My patterns
My
aren't
patterns
wrong.
aren't wrong.
My patterns
My
aren't
patterns
wrong.
aren't wrong.
Close your eyes. You can stop tapping. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Look hard down to the right. Look hard down to the left. Do a circle, a full circle with your eyes. Back the other way. I want you to hum a few bars. Mm, that's it. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hum again.
Mm,
Back to the eye. My patterns aren't wrong.
my patterns aren't wrong.
My
My
patterns aren't
patterns,
wrong.
my patterns aren't wrong.
My patterns aren't
My
wrong.
patterns aren't wrong.
Okay, stop. Take a breath. I want you to think about your patterns or say my patterns aren't wrong.
My patterns aren't wrong.
And on a scale of 0 to 10, how do you feel?
I don't feel anything really.
And your
Maybe a
throat.
2 or 3.
Okay, 2 or 3. And your throat?
It's open.
Great. So let's go again, right? You ready? We're going to speed
Okay.
it up. My patterns
Okay.
aren't wrong.
My patterns aren't wrong. My patterns aren't wrong. My patterns aren't wrong. My pat my patterns aren't wrong. 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 My patterns aren't wrong.
Close your eyes.
Mm,
Open your eyes. Look hard down to the right with your eyes. Look hard down to the left. Do a circle one way with your eyes. Do a circle back the other way. Good. Hum a tune. Count.
mm,
Hum. Great.
mm.
Back to the eye. My patterns aren't wrong.
Patterns aren't wrong.
My
My
patterns aren't
patterns
wrong.
aren't wrong. My patterns aren't
My
wrong.
patterns aren't wrong. Okay. Okay. Check into those. Say my patterns aren't wrong.
My patterns aren't wrong. They're just not wrong. 'Cause 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 they're just not wrong. And there's nothing wrong with feeling that. Hmm. I don't feel like I have to apologize for him.
Okay, you ready? You ready?
Yeah,
I don't need to apologize.
I don't need to
I
apologize.
don't need to
I don't need to
apologize.
apologize.
I don't need to
I don't need
apologize.
to apologize.
I don't need to
I
apologize.
don't need to apologize. I
I
don't need
don't
to
need to
apologize.
apologize. Oh yeah,
I
three
don't need
times.
to
I don't need to
apologize.
apologize.
I
I
don't
don't
need to
need to
apologize.
apologize.
I
I
don't
don't
need to
need you to
apologize.
apologize.
I don't need to
Don't need to
apologize.
apologize.
I don't
Don't
need to
need to
apologize.
apologize. I
I
don't need
don't
to
need to
apologize.
apologize.
Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Look hard down to the right. Look hard down to the left. Do a circle with your eyes in one direction. Back the other way. Hum a tune. Count.
Mm.
Count out loud.
One, two, three,
Hum.
4, 5. Mm.
I don't have to apologize.
I don't have to apologize.
I don't have to
I
apologize.
don't have to
Oh,
apologize.
I don't have to
I
apologize.
don't have to apologize. Mm. Mm. I don't need to apologize. I still feel like I need to
Great.
apologize.
So then what you would do is you would just do some more rounds. Now,
Okay.
what I did was I just took you through the first one and we did it
Yeah.
twice, right?
Yeah.
And then as long as you got three times karate chop, which is
Uh-huh.
which is essentially the sabotage point, right? So in EFT, it's the sabotage point. So we chop here, and then the
Okay.
side of the eye is the gallbladder meridian three times. Under here, stomach meridian. Under the collarbones is the kidney meridian. They're the master meridian. So really, you want to nail anything, you just hit the kidney meridians. But because I'm like sabotage point, let's enter. And I always like to do things in three. That's how it
Yeah.
worked it out when I was working out with what we're doing, what's going to be the best sequence. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter because like when in the whole sequence, right, you would be touching in the whole sequence, you'd be touching a whole lot of points. Too long to teach you to remember. I know you can go here, 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 here.
Yeah.
Do the brain balance a bit. Eyes closed, eyes open, down to the right, down to the left, hum, count, hum. Do one more round. Let's lock it in. Except you just don't do the karate chop point. Here, here, here. How do you feel? Now, when I used to work and use this with people in the clinic, we could just do multiple rounds of stuff because as soon as that thing shifts, something else will be there. And so we can go
Yeah.
bang. So what happened with you is you went, well, we did two rounds, it disappeared. Now, how long did that take? Very short amount of time, right?
Yeah.
And then I felt something else was there because it was that same thing. I'm like, oh, something's else going to come up. I know. And so when it did, I'm like, bang, we just went straight into it, right? So
Yeah.
you can like in a session with someone, if you had 15 minutes, like you can go through a whole lot of these. I got it wrong. Um, the limiting beliefs because what
Right.
happens is
Right.
it's all based on when you have the thoughts, it creates a disturbance in the body's energy systems. And so then when you have a disturbance in the body's energy systems, right? So when you have the thought, it brings up the feeling, it disrupts the neurology of the body. Now, behaviors here, I'm now calling unconscious behaviors, communication systems between systems in the body.
Yeah.
This could be biting your nails. This could be eating sugar. So you might start with someone with eating sugar and you do a whole round of this stuff and the system goes, hang on a minute, the disturbance in the body's energy system has now disappeared. I'm now neutral. I don't have a need for this thing. So when there's no need, the system goes, wow, I'm not in survival. I can put all my energy towards all these other things now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and thank you for the awareness that that thing gave, because I'm okay that my patterns are not wrong, that they're just, they are.
Really?
But I realize part of my healing, my limit on my healing is the more I change and become who I am, the more I feel I need to apologize to everyone around me.
Right. So then you go, you do round, you could just do a round of that
Uh-huh.
state. Just see how,
Yeah, I didn't realize that that was I, and maybe that's why I overshare the healing I'm doing, is because it's my way of apologizing for
oh, I'm going to be too
becoming
much.
something different.
I'm, listen, I'm apologizing in advance. I'm going to be too much and I'm going to melt down.
Yeah.
Right. So in advance, I'm going to do this. So, so,
Yeah.
so huge awareness to have, right?
Yeah. I had, because
Oh.
I didn't realize I apologized for everything until I couldn't break that with two. It was like, oh shit, that's a pattern that I didn't realize I was running.
Yeah, that's right. Well, or is it running you unconsciously? Now you're consciously aware. I just become aware of one little piece inside of the protocol that I didn't say. But you
What
see
was
how
that?
it still worked, like the process worked. I just looked at it and like, hang on a minute, we didn't say that thing. Where's that thing fit? Because you've become aware inside of the technique in step one when we're doing this.
Uh-huh.
The statement is, even though my patterns aren't wrong, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I just went straight into it, missed it. Even though, so what we're saying, even though my patterns aren't wrong, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I
Okay, now I'm
deeply
going
and
to be
com
honest with you
well,
on
I
that one.
deeply and completely accept myself, and I choose to be real now. I'm going to change that. I'll change
I'm
that.
going to be honest with you. I wouldn't have been able to say that.
Well, that's good. So I'm going to change it because we need to, because even though you had this, you need to do this. If that's what creates the charge, then we need to neutralize that charge.
Because I'm aware when you said that, I thought, oh, I'm not ready for that yet.
So,
I loving and
so
accepting my
so
loving
can
and
I
accepting
ask you this
myself. No, I'm not
question?
ready for that yet.
Can I ask you this question?
Sure.
Because that's I'm going to change that on there. The question I want to ask you when you say I'm not ready for that, I want to say because.
Because I haven't accepted that I'm worth my own love yet.
So then I would write down I haven't accepted that I'm worth my own love yet. You ready? Even though
Even though
I haven't
I
accepted,
haven't accepted that I'm worth my own love yet,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself.
Even though
Even though
I
I
haven't
haven't
accepted,
accepted I'm worth my own love and yet,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself.
Now, stop. Stop. Who's in control? Your father's voice in your body saying, stop it, or you right now saying, I'm in charge.
I'm not in control of this right now. You're telling me what to say, and
But
I'm not feeling any of it.
who's in control of this? Whose voice is that? Your father's or yours? Who's choosing to not be in control?
I'm choosing not to be in control.
Awesome. So then we can either go with the same statement or we go, even though I'm choosing not to, don't do it, just watch me, all right?
Yeah,
Even though I'm choosing not to be in control, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm choosing not to be in control, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm choosing not to be in control, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I'm not in control. I'm not in control. Oh, I'm not in control. I'm not in control. I'm not in control. I'm not choosing. 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 One, two, three, four, five. I'm not choosing control. I'm not choosing control. Control, 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 control. Even though I'm not choosing to be in control, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So you can just do rounds on this. Whatever comes up, bingo, hit it. So do you get why I stopped you in the first place, got into a commanding voice and said, who's in control? You said, it's not me, it's you. I'm like, I'm not taking that. I'm not in control. I'm not that good. I'm not that powerful, Raylin. I can't do that. You're relinquishing it. So who's not in control? Then you said, I'm not in control. Great. So then you work with that. So take a breath. I know that was a lot.
I can't do any more tonight.
No, we're done. So if you were working with someone and they got into a place where you're at right now, what would you tell them to do?
I'd probably go back to the breathing
Bingo. Go back to step one. You got it. You nailed it.
because that's what I'm doing right now is breathing.
Exactly. And what's the breathing going to do?
It calms the nerves.
Exactly.
It brings oxygen in, which has been depleted through the expulsion of everything. Yeah,
Well, through the potential panic.
yeah,
Like I went at you, right? In the
yeah,
sense that I'm just now sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just getting images in my mind. But I just became that inner voice that's inside of you.
yeah,
All
yeah.
I did was I
Heard
just
your voice, but saw my dad,
yeah, I just
or
played the
saw
role.
you and heard my dad's voice is what it
Yeah. And
was.
so I was like, now's the time we now let's nail it. So, but then I'm like, hang on a minute, she hasn't got it. I really pushed her. And so that's when I said, you stop, I'm gonna do it. Because I'm like, well, I'm gonna surrogate for you anyway, right? So that's in my head. I'm gonna do this, you're gonna look at me, you're gonna get it anyway. But I'm teaching you. the process.
Well,
But-
and hearing you say it and repeat it, it became a sentence that whether I could say it right then or it became a sentence that is in my head now.
Mm,
So I'll be able to use it. I'll be able to retrieve it and use it
yeah.
when I've regrouped a little bit so that I can.
So let's do a
But
bit
yeah,
of a
that was pretty huge.
oh well, good. I'm gonna like do a review, but I've only got the T section here, right? So obviously
Yeah,
you've told the story. I don't have the R section on there, but you have revealed the patterns.
several patterns.
Oh, there's a shitload. See, that's the thing. It was like, as I'm putting this together, right? And I'm like, hang on a minute. But in the program itself, they're just going to go back and choose a pattern to tap on.
Yeah,
Like, okay, so I've done some breathing, I've done the peripheral vision, I've done the UFT, what the UFC, UFC, that's fighting, isn't it? Ultimate Fighting Challenge.
UPC.
The UPC or the UFT,
Right.
what thing do I choose? You choose something that's probably going to be in that R section because there's a lot, right?
Yeah. Well, I chose the safest one.
Well, that's all right. So you thought.
But by doing that, as we came through, I realized, oh my gosh, the need to apologize for everything I do, whether it's right or wrong. Oh, that's even bigger. And so we went to that, and then it was like, oh shit, I can't
Yeah.
say what he said.
Because, see, the thing
So,
is, people will kind of say what they think you want to hear. Or let's map this over to a sales process. People will come in and they're going to come in with so Raylene, I got this awesome program and I know you're going to love it and does all this stuff. And you're like, oh, I know, that's it. I want to do more, Gavin. I want to do everything, right? And I'm going to say, all right, it's $25,000. And then you're going to go, okay, what's the first objection I can come up with?
yeah,
Right? It's probably true, right? If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. But a lot of the times people are going to come up with the objection. So that's safe for them to then to really tell the truth, right? So from that
yeah,
scenario, you're then saying, I picked the safest one. Cool. I want to get to the main reason. So by doing around, the next thing that comes up will be the thing that comes out of your mouth first. That's like the unconscious, like it's already shifted. You breathe, and what comes out is the next thing to work on, which was exactly the thing, because that's what come out.
I don't feel anything about it's okay. I don't have to apologize for it. It's like shit.
How good is that?
Yeah. And then when you said okay, and we were going through that, and I couldn't get past that, and you added that statement. Oh no, can't say that. I can do that. I can't say that. So then you made me realize what
So I
you
pushed you
guided
until
guided me
yeah,
into realizing where my
yeah. And so what I did
big
was
obstacle was.
when I say I pushed you, I'm like, I'm relentless in my pursuit for you to break through. So I pushed you into it, and then I'm like, okay, back off. Let you do your stuff. I'm still going to show you because I was teaching at the same, we're doing, but I'm teaching at the same time.
Yeah,
But it's just like, yeah, you can. It's just some words. Like we get through it. I know you're because I hold the end result for you breaking through, right? So I'm like, all that come up, but I also get that my breathing stopped, right? That's going to be an objection. Oh, but it's real. It's like, yeah, but it's your nervous system tricking you
yeah,
because you haven't died yet.
yeah.
Oh, actually, you have.
I felt like I was.
But you see how it goes straight to that reflex. So that's why I know that the sequence of all of this, why it works, because I'm just grateful that I just did all of that work all those years ago, and client after client after client after client after client after client, and just banged out the same thing. Now, because I haven't done this. I haven't done this work in years.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't do that anymore. It's like, wow, how excited am I to do that stuff that used to light me up? That wasn't a drag because I'm not really doing, I'm kind of teaching you how to do it, but like do it for yourself. It's like I
Yeah.
didn't realize how powerful that stuff was, but in it, but like in that sequence. So in the review, you've told the truth, right? That unpacks some stuff, loosens up the model, loosens it up. You've revealed, um, you've revealed the pattern. So inside of the, actually, I'll do it like this, Larry. Okay. So you've told the truth, revealed the pattern. Now inside the pattern, there's a drop-down menu. There's columns,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And there's a list. Join the dots. There's so many things inside of revealing it. You've written 65 pages worth of things, right?
Yeah.
Now, all this is a pattern. It's pattern recognition,
Yeah.
which is great because it's kind of like you're recognizing the pattern, which is the problem. There's a
Right.
real problem inside of this because you're now revealing it. Oh my God. Disassociated one thing, associated something else, right?
Yeah.
So then we've gone through this section here and we've gone, all right, we did the breathing, we did the eye pattern with the breathing, we did the peripheral vision and the unconscious pattern change. What that did was we've picked one thing probably out of here and we've gone, let's neutralize the emotions on this one thing. Now, this one thing is probably connected to a lot of other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's say we just did the 1, 2, 3 techniques in the U section and it collapses this whole pattern. And you go, oh my God, it's collapsed. Then what shows itself? The next pattern.
Yeah.
That's really what occurred. So in the S section, what occurred was, well, whether we got this all or not, I don't know. But the X step, or the S step, stepping into your sovereignty now is really changing the pattern.
Yeah.
It's accepting and acknowledging, having that awareness and neutralizing it. So now what happens is, here's a pattern match. Oh, now it's okay. It's okay now that before it was not okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay that it wasn't okay, which now means it's become congruent. Because you're okay with it being okay and you're okay with it being not okay.
You want to know what just hit me with you doing it?
Sure.
I'm okay with and have neutralized or what normalized or whatever that I'm okay, my patterns are not wrong. Well, what just hit me was the pattern that stopped me. I've already told my brain, and my brain has accepted that my patterns are not wrong. So, therefore, that pattern is not wrong either. And even though it's hard for me to say
Even though it's hard for me to say.
that I am worth loving and accepting, that's a pattern that is okay because it's not wrong.
No, it's just a bit hard at the moment.
Yeah,
Wow, that's huge in itself that you're actually just saying it's a little hard to say where before you couldn't say it.
yeah. And I feel like I have just settled. All of that intense emotion has, it's okay. I can sit in this for a while. I'm okay.
I'm okay, but
I'm
I'm not
okay. I'm
okay.
not dying.
So how about that?
Yeah. That saying that, whether I believe it or not, is okay. I didn't die from saying it. And if I can say it, there's got to be some truth in it. Whether I see it all yet or not, there's got to be some truth or I wouldn't say it because I don't lie.
Can I share something with you?
Sure.
Well, firstly, I want to acknowledge that. That was huge. Well done. Congratulations for being able to come back at the end as we did a review and went through it, and you realized that it's just a little hard to say the thing that you said that you couldn't say before.
Yeah.
See, we revealed the pattern, did some stuff, and then I showed you that, right? So it's really congruency is being okay and not okay. Acceptance, right? Accept the good and the bad, or there's the flip side of the coin. There's
Yeah.
always the other side. I was running a program with a colleague of mine. It was her lead, but I went with her. It was in like I suppose you would call it corporate, right? And so I'm running them through this stuff as I do, bring up stuff and neutralize it and say the thing. And I said something like, it was like a leadership meeting. There was all these leaders from all over Australia at this meeting for this company, right? And I remember saying in my cheeky way, or you would say poking the bear, uh, I said something like, oh, so I suppose that means this now. And in front of everyone, she goes, no, I just lie to everyone. Like, wow, you're the head sales or training person, and you've just uncovered your whole pattern in front of your whole team.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, so I said,
Well,
I suppose it's this. She goes, no, I just lie. Like, fuck, really? Wow. Anyway, that just reminded me of that. So I don't know why I said that. So now what that leads us to is the T section.
yeah.
So in the program itself, in your 1 day thing, you're probably not going to go too deep. You're going to take them through stuff.
Right.
But you see how now, brown cow, it rhymes. Do you see in the R section, there's many things. That's why we need to track on the 28 days.
Right. Right.
Because in the
Oh,
28
I see
days,
why we needed that from the beginning. The more,
100%. But
yeah.
the 28 days, we're basically just going in and
Yeah.
recycling this and doing the trust process on whatever we need to.
Yeah.
So it
Because
could
as we come in, the truth that they'll be telling in the first week or whatever
is bullshit.
will be, well, it will be what they have uncovered going through the workshop.
Yep.
It's a whole new truth.
Yep.
I'm sitting here with a whole different truth than when I started this thing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I get it. I love it. I love it. I love that you're sitting here going, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So the 28 days is just recycling this stuff using these. Really?
Yeah,
I'm
and you
up.
could just do it over and over and over.
Yeah, so once we get to that 28-day section, that's the 1st of June, right? That's when we're starting that.
Yeah.
So this stuff needs to get done. Is
Wow.
that's when I'll make up really what's going to happen in there. I've gone through it in my mind, kind of going, I had this and had we could do this and this. I'm like, you know what, Gavin, don't create anything. Anita and Raylene trust you. You trust yourself. We'll just make it up as we go. But what I know is that I already got the structure of there's a segue to this. So there's, let's say, I don't know, let's say there's 7 days. And it might not be that, but it's like we need a segue out of this 1 day event and a segue into the 28 days.
Right.
So I've got a segue over there. And so I put a document in there kind of saying, what you're at the end of the T section, which I'll put the T here, it kind of starts off the segue to this.
Yeah.
Um, and then in the 28 days, I'm pretty clear what it is we're going to do because you'll just come to the first one on or the first meeting with work that you've previously done in the week. So basically it'll be all right, what did you do? Okay, you did this. What worked? What didn't work? What come up? What do we need to address? And it'll be a mastermind of if this comes up, do this. Oh, you could like today, I just continually reinforce the model.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think that's once again, you're having the experience and then you come and ask questions, not come and learn something and then go off and do it. Do it. There's no right or wrong. You're just kind of going, oh, I did this and this happened. Great. So when that happens, you could do this. Oh, now I got choice. Always about giving you choice.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the map. Go off and work the map and make the map yours. Here's the map. I'm going to
Right.
work it like this, but you need to go off and work it. And then if you're not sure, then I'm going to give you a piece to help you to go back to work the map.
Right. Right.
So I'm just looking here at what I've written in the trust section. Yep, 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 yep. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, okay, yep. Noticing, yep, all that stuff. Okay, so at the T section, so I'll go with that. Let's do the T section. So before we close, take a moment. What's the one takeaway from today? What's the most profound thing? What's the aha moment? What's the thing that you will remember tomorrow?
I think what I realize the most is that because I'm not comfortable yet in loving and accepting myself, I use the pattern of continually apologizing for who I am.
Well, I'm going to say great. That's a great takeaway, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that when we get to the T section in the program, that's it, right? That's like what's one takeaway? That is it. No more. Let's not overwhelm you because if you've gone through this in a day, you're going to get to this T section and it's like
Oh, yeah.
you always have to give away. I don't know about in the States, but here, when you are driving and you come to a T intersection, you have to give way. You have to stop.
Yeah.
I just made that up then, by the way. Um, so it's one takeaway, and then the question. So it says here, it says, "What's my one takeaway?" Write it down, the thing you'll remember tomorrow, and then your commitment based on your takeaway. Write one commitment you are making to yourself, not a goal, not a promise, something you'll keep regardless of how you feel. And then it says, "My commitment for the next 28 days is." So what we're doing now is, you know, if you remember what you just said, maybe that's the thing. Then you take that over to the 28 days and you use that as the overarching theme for the 28 days.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's
Yeah.
like you're not setting a goal, but you are. But I'm not doing
Yeah.
goal setting. It's a specific intention that's coming out of peeling back a layer. And then I will know I've kept this commitment when. That's the question. Oh, actually, you probably do that at, oh, I don't know where that bit is. Okay, my commitment over the next 28 days. Or this is what we would do before we start the 28 days. I will know I have this commitment when and your future vision. Now write your future vision 6 months from now, having done this work, having kept the promises you're making to yourself today. Who are you? What does your day look like? How do you move through the world differently? What is possible now that what is possible now that wasn't before? Right is
Oh
right.
my God, Gavin. Can you imagine who I would be and how I would walk and how I would act and talk if I didn't feel like I had to apologize for who I am?
It'll be great to see.
Yeah.
Actually, that whole section, there's four questions are actually in the closing section. I'm hearing what you said, um, and I'm just reading through. And then there's 7 days of stuff. There's a bit of a map of what to do in the next 7 days.
Yeah.
Um, can I imagine Raylin and Raylin's life day in, day out, and even 6 months down the track, what her life would look like if she didn't have to apologize for everything? I can imagine it for sure.
I can imagine it too. There's just a chasm between where I am and what I see.
What does that mean?
I just need to build a bridge.
You need to build a bridge.
No, I need to be able to bring them to just get rid of the chasm. Bring who- them. Do you see what I mean?
I do. I'm very
I
clear in my mind.
I almost see it like I need to put one of those C clamps on it and just keep screwing the screw until they come together.
That's it. So the thing is then the C clamp and screwing the screws until it comes together. All you need to do is just commit to it. Commit to tightening the C clamp. That's it.
Yeah, one
Now,
twist a day.
now that's your truth.
Yeah, it's funny because I hear my son when he was going through his mechanics classes, um, and he came home and he said, "You know, the instructor told me something." And he says, "I never realized this." He says, "You take it and you twist it until it catches, and then just one touch more." I thought, just now, it don't, if all I do is put the C clamp on it and every day do just one touch more, not a full quarter turn, not just a tiny touch, eventually tighten it down to where it's got resistance and then move it just a tiny bit each day until
So if you
don't
make,
expect it to be closed by cranking it until it's closed.
yeah,
I need to be
that's right. So
okay with doing it one touch at a time.
if you make the commitment to do that, it's going to take work and it's going to take time, and it might take longer than you think.
Yeah,
However, in doing that, the results will come faster than you think because you made the commitment to take the time to do the thing you need to do.
yeah. Huh. I can feel the energy has shifted to it being it's in the distance to where yes, it's still in the distance, but I can feel the energy from it.
Got it.
Almost like I can almost reach it, but not quite, but that's okay because it's close enough. I can feel the warmth from it, if
Sure.
that makes sense.
It doesn't
It's kind
need
of
to,
like
it
I'm not
doesn't need
warm
to,
all the way, but I can
yep.
feel the fire there.
The most important thing is that you got it.
Yeah.
That because I might not understand or make sense of your map, but I don't need to as long as you do and you got it. Just the fact that you've expressed it and then said, does it make sense? It's following your list and your tick box of things because you use that pattern.
Yeah. It
So
feels,
my question to my answer would be, does it make sense to you?
yeah, it feels like it's reachable.
Yeah, yeah, I can see where your eyes are going as well. So the your unconscious pattern just tells me all of that. You're accessing, you just ticking all the boxes for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't need to get your map. I just need
Yeah.
to give you the map for you to get. See, and when I calibrate that, it's like it's congruent. You're not here saying one thing in my mind, and you're not here saying this, but you really mean this. It's like there's none of that. Because really, all we do is pattern match. It's just pattern recognition. It's pattern matching, pattern matching. That's why
Yeah.
those diagrams in there or signs are great because we recognize a pattern. You know, the stop sign is a certain pattern. The T intersection is a certain pattern. McDonald's, it's a certain pattern. It's just pattern.
Yeah.
It's the unconscious, which is the part that regulates everything. It just matches patterns.
I feel like I'm working with Canva where I've got my text is ski wonkers at the moment, and I've got my cursor on the little arrow thing,
Yep.
and I have to move it just a little bit until it lands
Yeah, yeah,
just
got it.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
So the other thing I wanted to say to you is by you committing to the C clamp, when you hear any other voice that says, I can't, I didn't, I shouldn't, I wouldn't, or whatever the voices are, it's not yours. That's not the voice of you. That's the imprint of something or someone else. And that's the imprint that's been running the show forever. That might not go away. It's like the imprint
Yeah,
of the impressionable person lives energetically within the body. So it still will exist, right? So it's still going to exist
yeah,
when you
yeah.
hear anything that indicates that you're not committing. Now, it might be every day, it might be every third day. There's some days the other voice is going to get you, other days your voice is going to override it.
Yeah.
This is now you creating your own map.
Well, and I need to allow the voices I hear to be not in my voice. They need to be the voice that they were
So, you
that
know,
programmed it.
so that if
Because
we
I can ignore my dad's voice.
well
I
don't
can't
you
ignore.
don't ignore it because what you resist will persist. So
No,
you
what I
to,
mean is I can hear it as my dad's belief and not mine if it's in his voice. But if I'm repeating what he has said to me, I'm repeating it back to me in my voice. I believe my voice. I don't have to believe his.
no, but just acknowledge his and say, hey, it's like
Yeah,
changing the job description. Like you're the controller, but now you're not. Now you're the servant. Now you're the worker. So every time it comes up, you're working for me. So when you remind me of that, oh, I'm going to be in control. Thanks. I'm the, oh,
yeah.
there again. So it's like, because it's
Oh,
how we
shoot.
utilize both things.
Did you hear the difference in when you said, no, I'm going to be in control? My whole feeling was, you know how I've resisted this idea that I need to be in control.
No, I haven't noticed.
All of all of a sudden, when you said it, that it was like, well, By golly, there's not a damn thing wrong with me saying back off. I'm in control of my decisions, not you. It took on a whole different connotation and lost that dominant,
Yeah, sure.
dominant
Awesome.
thing.
How good?
Huh, huh. You shift one or two things and everything looks different.
Oh no, it's like, oh well, I'm just going to move. Really, I moved the office around because I wanted to get the teleprompter in the spot. I'm like, oh, I got it. It's got to be here. And so the whole office shifted. Everything changed. I'm like, oh, I'll put it there.
Yeah,
I clean this, and like it's not very much different to where it was, but the bookshelf that was in the cupboard is now over there, and so my whole office is now out. You know, the how I'm presenting from a different position in here. And so the cupboard was only the last place that hadn't been sorted. We moved here 6 years ago. It's probably the only bit that's not sorted out.
yeah,
And so now it's sorted out and it's organized. So I get it when you say you move one thing and everything. It's like the chain reaction to this.
yeah.
You go above and beyond and there's no circle turned towards now. Is the dot there? See, when we say is the dot there or has it disappeared, we're not labeling anything. We're actually a dot really is a visual representation. Because in many modalities and many of the trainings that I did, it was always a limiting belief or it was always a specific emotion. And I don't want to make it a specific thing because what if it's not that? That's my
Well,
pattern.
and using something that they can tangibly visualize
Some people
makes
don't,
it
but it's like
easier.
if someone was not able to do that, I would just find another way because it's the mechanics of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I would just find another way. I'd just probably ask them something, and then that would give me the information.
That's interesting.
But in specific training that I've had, it was always a sequence of emotions. You do this emotion first and this one, and this is why. I'm like, it never worked with me. I'm like, yeah, but why? What do you do? Oh, yeah, this is this, and you do this before this, and yeah. But what if the person doesn't have that?
Yeah,
You know that you've got it when you can sense it in your body. You don't have to then tell me, oh, I feel anger in my right knee. How do you know? You don't feel anger. That's the name that you're giving a sense or a feeling. If you
yeah,
describe it as a sense, a sound, a color, or a feeling, which you describe, you'd give all those in the universal freedom technique, you access the senses, none of it conscious. You go in with an overarching theme, but I never go in with, oh, I've got a limiting belief, it's this belief. I just go in with, because for me, it's always in the body. I just go, I'm not feeling good about that. Great. So let's go and get some insight and some awareness. Let's become aware of it. Let's appreciate the thing. Like appreciate your dad's voice. Have awareness. Oh, it's my dad's voice. I can appreciate it's his voice. Sorry, I can become aware it's my dad's voice. I can accept that it's his, and now I can create appreciation for that being there. So, what did it teach me? What did I learn? What am I grateful for? What am I thankful for? How do I now see that now differently that it's not that anymore? Oh, it's this and this and this. And how do I see my future now? 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the track? It's future pacing like we did. It's very similar, the universal freedom technique, but we're instead of using the timeline here, we're using
yeah,
the senses in the body as visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And it breaks down into awareness, acceptance, and a kind of like appreciation, so to speak. And when you can appreciate something like is happening for you now, this pattern, you now have stepped out of this to this, and you can look at this with awareness, acceptance, and appreciation, gratitude for this. This is gold for you. That your father's voice and the control stuff is just reminding you that you're in charge, not him. And so then what will happen is over time you'll become to love this control thing like you just had the experience of. Oh my God, I love that thing. Oh, well, you didn't say I love it. You had a whole different appreciation or feeling for this
Yeah.
thing. So this is the thing. It's always going to be there and come up. So now you just have a process, tools, whatever you want to call it, to every time it comes up, I can accept it. I can be okay with it. And sometimes I'm not going to be okay with it, and that's okay as well. And then you can do some stuff on it to actually get the gold. So the worthy bit, the self-worth, is just you depreciating yourself because you haven't got the thing yet. When you get the thing, you'll appreciate it more. So your value will rise because your nervous system is a value seeking machine. What happens is when you got that thing and you said at that time about the control, there was a whole wave of electrical energy that just flooded your nervous system, and you went, "Ooh, did you see that? Did you feel that? Oh my God, I just said that thing. I'm in my power."
Yeah.
So it's all value. In business, we call it value. In spiritually, we call it healing.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, moving away from today, what's the one thing, what's your action plan for this next week?
Well, I have to finish the packing and move this weekend for the first time. No,
In
I'm
regards
going
to this.
yeah, I'm going to finish the so I've got the whole um all the questions answered in the thing. I want to go through the thing Anita sent me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Listen
want
to
to
that.
listen to that
So take
because
one
I
of
want
these, take one of these into it.
yeah. And so I'm going to listen to that and then I'm going to finish off the stepping in sovereignty and the trust read
Okay.
that one so that by next week when we get together I've completed all of the
Yep.
workbook.
Yep. Yep. You've completed this.
Yeah.
We'll go and then over to the T.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
And so that's completely done. And then when we sit and we all three talk, I feel like I then can honestly have some things to add but if
Sure.
I haven't gone through it, it's hard for me to be a part of a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of it.
no, that's okay. Just take
So
yourself
yeah.
through it. I got you. Take
So
yourself
I'm
through it.
almost, yeah, like I said, I've got the S and the T left to
All
do.
good.
You've helped me with a lot. And to be honest, the S part makes me a little nervous because of what happened tonight, but it also excites me because if what we had happen tonight, doing it again happens. Do you see what I mean?
I do. So then pick the safe thing out of here.
Yeah,
Use the S with the safe thing, do a few rounds so you got it. You go, okay, yeah, I
yeah,
got it. Like
yeah,
you don't have to master it now, so I've got it, then I can finish the T bit. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
the fact that you can do the S thing and go, okay, so I'll just do one round, couple of rounds, one day, whatever, so I can get to the T bit so I can finish it because
yeah.
in the next 28 days, when we start this program, we're going to be going back in and doing the program.
Right,
So
right,
you don't have to understand it all and get it all here. You just have to go
right,
through the process because
right.
it'll come up in the next well, like the anchoring in the embodied part of it will really come in June.
Yeah.
That's when we get to go through it. It'll be like, wow. And see,
But one thing that I realize is I have been trying to rein myself back a little bit. And I know we've had a deadline. We need to get through this part. So I do have to rein it. But it's like tonight I sat down and I thought, okay, I can do this and I can do this because Gavin and Anita said this much time. I can do that. And as things would begin to unfold, I can't not finish unfolding
no, you'll
because
never.
I, yeah,
That's the thing. We'll never finish unfolding.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is if I was in somebody's workshop, yes, I would have to stop when they moved on. But when I'm working on my own time, until I finish a thought or a path to where I feel like, okay, I can break, it's hard for me not to complete before I transition to the next thing.
You'll never be complete. And it only comes back into you want to get it right. And then it comes into your thing about the boundaries. Just stop. It's a discipline. I get it. It's like you're a Pisces. There are no boundaries. There is no line. It just merges. Like it's a thing that you do. It's
Yeah.
it's
But
so
if I don't complete my thought, I lose the thought, the last
well
part
that
of it.
that could be a good thing. Because imagine losing the thing you don't need anymore. Maybe you're holding on to the thing of the thought that you don't need, but you want to hang on to the need to finish the thought. Don't ask me to say that again. Because I get it. Like I can get lost down the rabbit hole with the chat GPT. I've got to give myself a deadline.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when you give yourself a deadline, you actually work harder towards it and get more done. It's
Yeah.
just, it's just a disciplining thing. Oh, I've got a deadline. I've got to get that done. It's like I was, I was looking at accommodation in Vegas for the 20th of February next year, and I said at 1:45 I need to stop this because I need to open up because I started at 1:25. That should have been the time I was looking through the Dropbox stuff. And I'm like, 1:45, you got to stop, Gavin. It's like, mate, I was like into it.
Yeah.
Um, but I had to stop because I wouldn't have been able, I had to open the document because I can't remember what I wrote 2 weeks ago. I know it's really cool and I've been doing it, but I'm like, I've now got to teach it. So, like, what am I saying? Where is the info?
Yeah.
So, it's just a disciplinary thing. Because the more that you say that, it was the same pattern. I can't, I don't, blah, blah, blah. I'll lose a thought. So what? You lose it. You know what? You'll think something else. It'll probably come back later. But, if you were to lose it, then you're giving up control, right? That's the flip side. Imagine losing all the thoughts you don't need. That would be very freeing. It'd be a relief. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that whole thing. I don't need to go around in a fucking circle again. If I just do the one circle, that's enough and I'll move on because it's never going to be complete. That's like, you know, get this book written as an example. Like I had to check out, well, where am I at? Where are the authors at? Well, I've got stuff written and I've written it, but it's not written as um, relevant to now. Like I've written a book or my book 20 times over. I could
Yeah.
show you all the content. It's here, it's there, it's going to have this in it. Here's the structure. Here it all is. And so it's like, oh, fuck, I've got to write it again. Well, actually, what I've realized is I needed to do all of that to get to this point. Now, this is the last time that I'll be writing it. This will be the draft and this will be the book.
Yeah.
And what's the signature program that's going to be in it? It's the trust method. And so I've got the stories, I got it all wrapped up. And so I started. I started doing what you guys are doing. So that
Yeah.
new document, I went through and I did it all. I'm like, great. Now, I know I could go back in and change it and get it
Yeah.
100% right, which I know I've got to get it right before I get it out there. I'm like, I don't fucking need to do that. That's just that piece done, right? So I'm on to it's a little bit like it's on to the next section because I created the path, the steps, it's like I've done step one. There's a lot in step one.
Yeah.
But if you have all this content that you already have and you put it into ChatGPT or whoever you use and say, and get it to ask you the questions. And I mean, I do the talking bit with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then I will then respond because it's like I'm going to talk back and respond, put it in there, and it might ask me another question, and I'll check. Hang on, that's not the right question. Or I might go, oh, but what about this? Oh, but what about that? Hang on a minute, I'm having all these thoughts, and so I'll add all that in. And so what I'm doing is it's helping me to extract the information that is quicker than writing it, but essentially I've then got to write it anyway because I've got to read it and I've got to adjust it.
Right.
So then I've got all of this content that I'll take forward and then I can just plonk it in there and go, well, actually, here's 261 pages of this. Now I've got this. Give me an overview. Give me this and this and this. What prompts do I need to now to ask to take this to the next chat to get this? And so I got the prompts. I got 261, 7 pages of stuff that it'll go over until I'm developing the AI as I do that. So it'll make the next section easier. So the stuff that I've just written is gold. It's like it might not even be that I have to write next because I'm gonna, I saw it. This is what needs to be done. And I'm so glad that I can put the astrology frameworks in there so you can learn about your own map.
Yeah.
Because, like, I have to learn mine. I know my map as well as I know it, but I've never put it because it's easy for me. I just ask him, what does that mean? And we have a conversation. And I go, oh, yeah, that's really cool, but it's all up here, not locked into here. Because the
Yeah.
last piece that she gave me was about Pluto, and she said, "Well, this is yours, and this is mine, and this is kind of what's happening." And I'm like, "But I don't get it." She's written it. She goes, "What are your thoughts?" I'm like, I go into my mind to give her the info, and I go, "It's vague. I don't see it." And so I need to get this right. So I'm like, I started with this piece, and I'm like, "All right." So I started with ChatGPT. Ask me some questions so I can get this. And then that led to this question. And it's like, well, I'm a Y learner. Give it to me in a Y. Oh, I'm a kinesthetic learner. And so it gave me these models and I started to do it and I started to get it. 4 days later, I went down the rabbit hole of this one piece. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
But now it's framing that up in an organized way. So all of that stuff it's that now I used to finish that first section. 271 pages of stuff. Now, that's like drafting a story, right? So it
Yeah.
broke it down into this is what I said, this is this and this, and it recalls it and says some other stuff. And I'm like, nah, that's bullshit. I don't like, like you say, that's not true.
Yeah.
Or be brutally honest with me. Like I've found pieces that I've started to remember, and I was like, I've never like the whole mission bit I kind of got, what's my mission, to eradicate the thought of that there's not enough. Not enough, I'm not enough, not confident it's enough, smart enough, there's not enough money, there's not enough time, just not enough, right? So it's lack.
Right.
It's lack. And
Right.
like it's a pandemic all over the planet, right? So if people are teaching abundance, they've either got it or they're still in lack and they're teaching you need to be abundance and this is how you do it.
Yeah.
So, so in knowing, like in having these conversations and then structuring it out, putting it into a framework, it's like by the time I go through the process, I need to go through the process because I'm teaching you guys that, and I want to give you the map so you can find out for yourself. No one's taught me how to do this. I'm sorting it out for myself.
Right.
I'm not a big reader, but I have a process of seeing patterns and asking questions. So it's
Yeah.
like to get that out, you need to understand. Oh, I'm so excited about taking the astrological pieces because I'm gonna like know myself like, oh my God. And so are you guys.
Yeah.
And it's the key piece in the writing. It's like the person that has the problem and the solution or the path or the purpose for like it's kind of like the purpose for being here, but I'm not teaching it in a spiritual way. I'm doing it my way, but Kim has her piece with it. And so by the
Yeah.
time we get to section 6, with the AI that I'll develop out of it, you'll have your book written. But it's not write your book in 7 days using AI. You've got to do
Yeah.
the work
Yeah.
You're doing the work. You're doing the work because I'm asking you the questions. You're utilizing AI to help it get it out of you with my assistance.
Right.
And then once that's done, then we kind of throw in the how do we now extract the story out of it? It's like we extract the story's already the pain to the prize, where you were to where you want to be is already done. Then we just extract out a three-step system or a five-step. So some acronym,
Yeah.
it's like the trust method come out of it. It's like, well, what is that? Well, that's everything now runs off that frame. So I've got
Yeah.
this and I've got the diagnostic tool being the triangle, and everything will reflect back the bridge, acceptance, awareness, acceptance, appreciation. You're exhausted, you want to be energized. I can
Yeah.
wrap everything back into a system. So you end up with a system, and then all you need to do is it's all your stuff. You get to talk your stuff. How easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Because it's not, what do I say now? What are they expecting? It's like, just tell the truth. For me, it's huge. But it's like, here's the problem. If I've solved that, there's going to be people out there that need this solved. They're just disorganized. So who's the people
Yeah.
that are disorganized where my knowledge is organized that I can actually help them to get organized?
Hmm.
And it's organized in the nervous system. Because
Yeah.
for me, I'm going to link it back to that because that's where my training was.
Yeah.
That's the sports therapies. Like I can do the spiritual part, the energetic side, all of the Reiki and the crystals and the flower essences and the symbols and sound and all that funky cool stuff that I used to do and lie people on the table and do stuff and stuff would happen. I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah.
I just never trusted in it. There's my insight for the day. I never trusted in it. Because what this I'm thinking out loud now. I've had the thoughts, but now I'm thinking out loud that I feel moving forward with people that do their signature system. I don't even know the name of it. Their book, but with your signature system, right? Your life's work, right?
Yeah.
They probably need to do the trust program before it because it's going to loosen up. That's what I'm thinking at this early stage. If they go through this in the 4 weeks, that'll be a whole lot of mindset stuff that'll be out of the way.
Yeah.
And it's also and it'll be also a lot of content. So how do you see the thought that I just had about that for new people potentially coming in to do the book? Because I know that you haven't written the book yet, but I'm like, I think this would be, it has to happen.
Oh, I agree. This part has to happen. And honestly, had we done this part before we began working on soul and seed statements, I think it would have been easier to do the soul and seed statements.
Yeah, well, yeah, got it. Well, here's a little secret for you. You're now doing this process, and when you go back in and start that other bit, there it's all back in there again. But there's
Yeah.
a soul statement, there's a seed statement, there's a vision statement, there's four
Yeah.
statements. There's a healing
And I
statement.
can see where they're going to be not easier because I'm still going to have to be pulling stuff, but they will be easier.
Yeah, because there's a whole lot of awareness that's come up for it.
Uh-huh. A lot.
And if you answer the questions and use this and use the GPT, it's going to blow your mind. You're going to go, oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
God.
I can already, as I'm thinking back on what I've already written on the soul statement, it's like, boy, that is so shallow.
Hey,
And I
I get
didn't
it.
feel, yeah, I
I
didn't feel like it was shallow before.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it because when I put mine through and then like because I'm going to tell this toffee story, so I think, but the memory that I hit when I was going through this that links to that there's not enough bit that I'd forgotten was um my mum took me to the orthodontist because my teeth, and that couldn't afford it. Mum said we can't afford it, and it's the first memory that I have at this point in time in my life of actually, rather than, oh, we can't afford it, but here's a we can't afford to buy the best thing, but here's a second level. Like you want you want a baseball bat, and this is the Ridgy Didge one. Well, we can't afford that, but we got you a baseball bat. So you kind of
Yeah.
go, well, I got the bat, but it's not like the brand one. It's not the brand.
Right. Right.
And so there was, and I didn't really know too much different, but with this one, it's like there was no, you can't have the brand, you don't get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I'd forgotten that. And then, so because I put my other 5 chapters in, I was like, well, if we're going to do this every little piece along the way, which is what I need to do, then this is the work I've already done. And
Yeah.
so I was able to see the kind of order of the 5 chapters that I've written that I put in. And it gave me feedback on, well, your first one was this, but it was a bit salesy. It was real salesy. And then your next one was this, your next one was this. And then it said the one about the uh, betrayal one, it said that was your best writing. Now, I don't know if it was or not, but it gauged it, right? Because
Uh-huh.
it has no emotional connection to it. Because I can say, hey, I'm using Claude, I'm going, I did this with ChatGPT. It doesn't say, oh, why did you go there and not use me? It just goes,
Yeah.
right, this is what the other GPT said. There's no personalized stuff in there.
Right.
It's some
Right.
good stuff I'm learning from doing that as well. It's like it's just like this is um, this is the target. So I got a lot of feedback from all of that, but then I realized, and then because in the resilience one, it was I got punched, and there's a thing about my lip, and then there was, oh, just had a skin cancer cut off my nose, and then there was something else, and it said, oh, so there's all these things that are happening on your face. Oh, it was my teeth and my mouth, and me not having a voice, breaking the silence, can't speak up, and all this stuff. And it says, so here's a belief. Now I don't know if how true it was, but I'm still playing with it. I'm like, wow, it wasn't my mouth, or I'm not worth enough to have my mouth fixed. So then I'm not worth enough to speak. And so that links to another part of the writing that I'm doing. I'm like, wow, it hasn't hit me in the body yet. It's still in my head, but it gave me a different perspective of looking at this pattern of there's not enough. And I'm like, it really blew my gaskets, and with a whole lot of other stuff as well inside of it. And that's just step one out of the 9 steps. And that's how it come up with the title of the book, and how we wanted to go with it. And it's asking me the questions. I'm like, well, it's not going to be breaking the silence, but I need to link breaking the silence into it.
Yeah.
And it just said, I think what was it the naked truth? Is that what it was?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm like, I love that adjective, the naked truth.
Yeah.
And and then
But
it
that
come
does fit breaking the silence.
yeah. And then it said how a 40-year-old wound trapped in the body became the voice that teaches the world to speak. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That just gets me here. I'm like, I'm making a huge statement there. Like
Yeah.
that, there's a, for me, there's a real weight and a responsibility around teaches the world to speak. Because really all I'm doing is finally speaking to the world.
Yeah.
And the story will show people, and then the method is inside of all of that. So I'm like, probably going to take, I'm pretty, normally I wait for the title to the end, but I'm like, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I just whacked up the cover on ChatGPT, so on Gemini, and then something else. So But I appreciate everyone's feedback as well. So yeah, um, I can see the darkness that has to be different. But what I did was I used the
And
light.
there's just too much of it.
Yeah, yeah, it's too dark.
You
But
know, you need to pop more.
yeah,
The brightness needs to be more dominant
yeah, okay.
because it makes you look too hidden still.
Yeah, still hiding, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
got it.
Yeah.
But the colors I used from the resilience book.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
went,
I love the coloring. The
yeah, me
coloring was
too.
great.
I'm just like,
The
I put that.
typology was perfect. It was, yeah, even with the extra darkness on the boom, there he is, and the colors around you made me want to pick it up and
Yeah,
see what it read it was about.
yeah.
So all of that drew in curiosity, but I would have most likely felt a little more hesitant with as much darkness still around you.
Yeah, well, that's
That
just what,
doesn't
yeah,
look like,
yeah,
yeah, that
yeah,
doesn't look like you've come out of it all the way. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I will probably learn something like that'll end up going to the graphic designer anyway to have
Yeah.
it done. That's just for me, my bit. I wanted to put it there because,
Yeah.
it's important that you guys get this done. And if
Yeah.
I'm leading and I haven't done it, then really I can't ask you guys to do it either, can I?
No,
Well, I
not
can.
really.
I can, but like.
But it doesn't generally work. People don't listen to people who haven't done it already.
Yeah, that's for
So,
sure.
yeah.
All right, well, I know what I've got to do. I've got to change that little bit of content in the S section. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Um, and that's about it for this
Okay.
because I've completed it.
Sounds
So,
good.
and I'm glad I
Thank
looked
you
at
for time.
our steps because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You're welcome. You're welcome. Have fun.
I will.
And if you have
I
any
will.
questions, just, you know, ask, send me a message or
Okay.
pop them in the group.
Okay. Will do.
Okay.
Okay.
Speak
Have a
soon.
good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, if you
What?
didn't realize,